Over the last few months, I've seen a lot of traffic on my social media and a lot of people talking about Jennifer's Body, which is the 2009 movie that was directed by Karin Kusama and starred Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried. I watched this film in 2010. I watched the unrated version of it on the Blu-ray, and at the time I remember thinking, this is not such a bad movie. There's some fun aspects to this. Yeah, it could be a lot better in some areas, but there's nothing too bad about it. I remember at the time it came out, Megan Fox was this household name. Everybody was excited for any movie with her because she was the sex symbol at the time, and everybody was excited for whatever she would do next. And that's how this movie was marketed as well. 20th Century Fox really misread the room on this one, and they marketed it as basically a softcore porn like movie, which has Megan Fox in it, and she's going to look attractive in it. 10 years later, in 2019, Diablo Cody, the writer of the film, and Megan Fox actually sat down and talked about it in like a retrospective of sorts. It's on YouTube. And if you watch that, it's incredibly revealing because they really talk about how Fox marketed it that way to appeal to a younger male audience that will hopefully make them some money.
Well, the test screenings were horrible. And I believe that's because of the audiences that were recruited for the screenings.
Which were like frat boys?
Exactly. The studio had a very strong, unshakable belief that this movie needed to be marketed to young men specifically. So that was who they.
Which came because of me, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I got a very memorable email from a marketing person at the studio once, where I had sent him this articulate defense of the film, and here's how it should be marketed. And I said, what specifically are you thinking? And he wrote back, Megan Fox hot. 3 words.
It's definitely a crying shame because I think a lot of people went to see the movie with that mentality, and unfortunately, that's not quite what you get with Jennifer's Body. You get a very different movie. In fact, I remember the first time I saw the movie, that's exactly how I was going into it. That's what the marketing showed me. So I guess that's the kind of movie I'm gonna get. So imagine my surprise, the movie starts off and we're introduced to Needy, played by Amanda Seyfried, and she's narrating from an asylum. Okay. Not what I was expecting. Over the years since this movie came out, it's got quite a bit of a cult following. It is now considered a horror classic, and honestly, all the better for it. I liked the film when I first saw it, but now having seen it again just a few hours ago, and this is after 10 years, this movie, I kind of love it. It's a really fucking good movie. First of all, Megan Fox in this movie, this is her best performance. I thought that when I watched it the first time too, but if I wanted to cement any opinion of mine on this channel, it's this one. She is fantastic in this, and I'm glad because she has cited that this is her favorite performance as well. Amanda Seyfried, this is also one of her best performances, and she has also said this is one of her favorite movies she's worked on. So when the movie got mismarketed the way it did because they wanted to cash in on Megan Fox having done the first 2 Michael Bay Transformers movies, I was disappointed because, unfortunately, that's really not the movie you get here. At the twilight of their high school careers, Needy and Jennifer decided one night they were going to go to a bar and see this band perform that has just come into town. The band starts performing, but in the middle of the performance, a fire breaks out and suddenly the whole place comes burning down. Jennifer hitches a ride with the band and she says, "I'll see you later, Needy." And when Needy gets back home, things seem normal. However, later, Jennifer shows up to the house and she's covered in blood and she's vomiting black ooze. As it turns out, something was done to Jennifer while she was with the band, and she is now this supernatural-like creature which can basically take any damage and is killing a bunch of boys that are going to the high school that her and Needy go to. And as Needy is trying to piece all of this together, we're going into her psyche as well to see if all of this is actually happening or if she's just seeing all of it within her head, and eventually things come to a head. And I'm not going to give any more spoilers because in case you've not seen the movie, please go check it out. There is such a thing in a movie as a target audience. There is a certain demographic that you're appealing to with your messaging and your writing. And now that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's every movie ever. Like when you watch an Avengers movie, you're not expecting everyone to show up. The people who are really going to show up for it are comic book fans. Or when you watch something like Star Wars, you're expecting Star Wars fans, really. That's who you're really making the movie for. Of course, you want to make the movie for everyone, and you want to make a show for everyone, but at the beginning of it's really about keeping those people who've been involved with something in mind and making it for them. Jennifer's Body was not made for a male audience. It was not made to cater to the male gaze. In fact, it was made more for a female audience, and one of the reasons this film has received the status that it has garnered this, and it is revered so much now, is because of that female audience and the fans of this movie, who after 10 years have made this a cult classic and given it the respect and the love that it really deserves.
There was a time when it was painful for me to talk about Jennifer's Body because, you know, that movie was a commercial failure.
Yeah.
And like, I was savaged personally. It wasn't just having a professional failure. And so it was hard, and I had written about it a lot, and I had talked about, I mean, I've actually gone through therapy because of that experience. And now, 10 years later, I genuinely love talking about it. I'm so happy to be here talking with you about it. But I think part of that is because we're being validated now.
Yeah.
People suddenly, the movie has suddenly found its audience.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes, it's still pretty low, and both the critics and audience scores have really melted this movie down. And it's such a shame, really, because I started to look back at it, and I think that if just a few things, if just some things were rectified in the process of developing this film, it'd be a very different thing today. Going back to the film's themes in general, as Jennifer is in this van and this thing happens to her where the band performs a ritual on her and they make her this sacrifice so that they can become famous, and she survives it. Of course, the commentary here about how men use women to prop themselves up on the ladder and make themselves successful, and definitely that is a part of the commentary of this film, and that definitely sticks out here. It also does that in a way that was enthralling. It wasn't like it was like whacking you over the head with the messaging or anything like that. In fact, not at all. That's one of the things I love about Jennifer's Body. It never takes you for being dumb. It never thinks that, oh, in case you didn't get it, this is what we're doing. The movie is telling its own story, but very subtly it has those messages ingrained into it, while also giving you an entertaining horror movie out of it, filled with great performances. Fantastic soundtrack, by the way, very timely 2009 soundtrack, which I do appreciate. Yeah, it's something you appreciate. It's a gorgeously shot movie. The use of color is staggering. I mean, really, there's so much to appreciate that way in this film, but really it just comes down to the way how smartly Kusama and Diablo Cody have presented this film from start to finish. They've really left nothing to chance here, and I wish more people had said that in 2009. Now, I've only seen the unrated cut. Like I said, that's the one I saw in 2010, and that's the one I'm seeing right now in 2020. I didn't see the original theatrical cut. I believe there's a 5-minute difference. I'm not sure what the 5 minutes are. If anyone knows, leave in the comments section, please let me know. In fact, rewatching the movie, do you know what I thought? I kept thinking in my head, like, this was the first Jennifer Lawrence in Mother moment. And what I mean by that is, if you've seen the movie Mother, whether you liked it or you didn't like it, Jennifer Lawrence in that movie was phenomenal, and her performance was award-worthy. So it was a surprise to everybody when she got a Razzie nomination for Worst Actress for it. In fact, it was condemned widely by everybody because they're like, are you serious? When Megan Fox got a Worst Actress nomination for this movie back in 2009, 2010, and it was joined with Revenge of the Fallen, I was genuinely surprised. I mean, both movies, in fact, I'm serious. Even with Revenge of the Fallen, she was a lot better in that movie, and in here, this is like her best performance. It feels really shitty that she got that nomination. I'm not calling out the Razzie community here. Actually, you know what? I am calling out the Razzie community here because I hate the awards as is. But there are moments where you really, really hate the awards, and this is definitely one of those moments. Now, this is not to say that Jennifer's Body is a flawless movie from start to finish. When it has some flaws, it has them. I mean, I could have used some depth in a few of the plot points, for sure, because there is some focus on them. The most minor of flaws exist with this movie between me and it. I mean, this film for me really hits a lot of notes, and it's really great. And in retrospective, on this second viewing, I like it a whole lot more than I did the first time. First time I had a lot more issues. I was like, oh, it's not as funny, the dark comedy is not that good, it's not that scary, but it does have scary moments. It does have excellent dark comedy. It harnesses all of these things really, really great. And this is honestly the perfect example of a double take movie. Sometimes you watch a film and you think, okay, that was all right. But then you watch it a second time and you go, oh, actually, you got something there. You got something. That's how I feel Jennifer's Body is. You can't watch it the first time and go, that great. It is a second viewing movie. You watch it the second time and a lot of it clicks then, and then you really start to appreciate it a lot more in retrospect. This movie, it deserves the status that it has achieved in the years since, and I'm glad that the fans of it over the years since 2009, 10, 11, whenever, over the years have made this movie and made this movie get the status that it has got, and why it remains a film that I will now recommend to a lot more people as time goes on. And I recommend it to you too if you've not seen it. I've not given all that of spoilers in this review for a reason. In case you've not seen this movie, please go check it out because it's really, really great. I'm gonna give Jennifer's Body an 8.5 out of 10. Guys, thank you very much for watching. This is a video, like I said, I wanted to do it for a while now. It's not because there's been some influx of reviews recently, but it's just when I heard a lot of people talking about it, I wanted to revisit it, and I did, and I said, I have to talk about this movie. I can't get it out of my head. Also, it's really weird. I saw it again a few hours ago, and I just can't stop thinking about it. I watched it digitally. I am highly considering buying the Blu-ray. It's on my Amazon card right now. Might actually end up doing that by the end of today, so that should be fun. Guys, thank you very much as always for watching. I hope you really liked this video. If you like something more, if you think I missed something, please let me know in the comments. As always, guys, if you like this, please just subscribe. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you guys at the movies.